The psychedelic revolution is here. If you want to integrate your visionary experiences into your purpose, get clear on your entrepreneurial path, and help people while you do what you love, then this podcast is for you. Welcome to The Psychedelic Entrepreneur, Medicine for These Times. I'm your host, Beth Weinstein. I'm a spiritual business coach, 3-time entrepreneur, and a lifelong student of psychedelics and sacred plant medicines. You carry your own unique medicine, and your medicine is what we need for these times. This podcast will help you to share your medicine so you can create transformation in the world. Listen in on conversations with psychedelic leaders, changemakers, and conscious entrepreneurs who are living proof that a better world is possible when you follow your heart and live in alignment with your soul. Welcome back. Before we begin, please be sure to download one of my free trainings that you see right here on the show notes. That way we will be directly connected through email, and we won't have to rely on these companies that run social media to be connected in community. Thank you. So I want to talk about something that's been alive lately with some clients. So I work with a lot of amazing clients that are coaches, healers, psychedelic facilitators, therapists, people doing transformational work. And many of my clients come to me either totally new or having been in business for anywhere from 1 to 3 or 4 years. Sometimes I get clients that are have been in business, 5 to 10 or 15 years and are actually in the process of making a pivot in their business. And the one thing with all of these people, no matter where they are in their business, is when they're stepping into something new, or they've only been at it for maybe a year or 2 years, there is this energy of wanting to make money. I wonder why. Well, when you leave a cushy career to start a business, it is definitely a shock to the nervous system to suddenly not have a paycheck coming in every 2 weeks. If you had a successful business as whatever it is, a body worker or a traditional therapist, but now you're moving into something newer, coaching or, a mix of medicine work, whatever it is. There can be this time frame where there's a drop in, life as you knew it before and what you're stepping into now. But the one thing I've seen for many, many years is when there's a need to make money and the overwhelm to the nervous system. So I'm not going to bypass the fact that everybody needs to make money. Actually, much of the spiritual community likes to believe that you don't need to make money at all. So let's just start by honoring the fact that you need to make money. Everybody needs to make money, at least, as far as I know. Maybe if you have a lot of savings or a trust fund, etc., maybe you don't. But let's just name what's real is we live in capitalism, whether we like it or not, and we need money. So, but when you are stepping into your business and you're eager to get clients and you're in the new journey of either pivoting or creating a new business, there can be this energy of neediness and wanting so much that your nervous system starts to get really on a heightened alert and into a place of overwhelm. And what happens is when you're coming from that place, you start to make some bad decisions. Not always, but you can make some decisions that come from fear. And I have seen this for many years, and it's very normal. I went through it. I think most every entrepreneur, if you ask them, have gone through this place of, wanting one thing, but saying yes to another because of fear. And the fear is usually connected to, I need clients, I need money. Once in a while, there's the fear of being seen or putting yourself out there, etc. But this is very often why people maybe undercharge or say yes to a client that they are not really feeling like working with, or maybe work out some kind of a deal and bend their boundaries because they feel this fear of like, well, I just need money or I just need clients. And it's a very strange thing because, um, you know, there is the reality of capitalism. You need money, you need clients, yes. And you're also doing very deep work with this particular client. And it's really important to be aware of your own energy and where it's coming from. Is everything you're doing in your business coming from a place of your own inner truth and what you want, or is it coming from fear? And this is something that's really important to really start to get a handle on. And this is why I cannot emphasize enough to have some kind of support as you start and grow your business, especially in those first, the first 1 to 3 years, I would say are very important to have continuous ongoing support, not just to learn how to properly grow your business, but to actually learn how to come from the right energetic resonance of being in that place of pure service and love. Of course, not everybody's always going to be like that all the time, but when you're coming from a place of fear and questioning yourself and self-doubt and neediness and, the like grabby energy, what happens is it actually becomes more detrimental to your business. This is where a lot of my clients will struggle to see, like, I really don't want to charge that little, but I really need the money. Or I didn't really feel like that's the ideal client, but I really need a client. Or she couldn't afford it, so I negotiated a payment plan that doesn't really feel good. Or I negotiated a lower rate. Or, I just want to help people, so let me, give them whatever they want. So what happens is then, there's a dance around this. Of course, this doesn't mean like you can't ever offer, pro bono or, scholarships or something like that. Yes, there's always a way to build reciprocity and service to those that can't afford you into your business. That's a whole separate subject. And I do teach that to all of my clients. But this is different. This is really being attuned with your truth and your sovereign self and your heart to know what it is that you want in your business. So I have this beautiful image, which I should show you right now if I could figure out how to share my screen, and I can't. But maybe I'll put a link to it in the show notes. I have an image that I call the Pyramid of Divine Abundance. This pyramid is an even pyramid on all sides that has you on one side, your ideal clients on the other, and then your greater mission on top. And when these three are in balance, you, your clients, and your mission are in balance, your business tends to be divinely guided and flow a lot easier. But let's say, so there's you and your ideal clients. And let's say you're feeling this nervous system overload and you're starting to get a lot of fear in your body. And, you need to pay the bills next month and you're feeling desperate. What happens is your energy starts to shift. You are not solid in your truth. You become, a little shaky and more, based in fear versus love, fear over service. And what happens is it starts to attract in that kind of energy of like, well, so-and-so feels kind of desperate. That coach is feeling desperate. That psychedelic facilitator must need clients because they're willing to negotiate their rate. And it starts to attract in people that either aren't the right fit, take advantage, or just really aren't the right energy for you. And maybe they are the right client, but what happens is, if you are shaky and not grounded in your truth and your heart and your soul, and this client is like negotiating with you and creating a different rate and tells you they can't afford it, or, whatever it is, or like, oh, I don't want to do it in 6 months. I want to do it over 12 months or 3 months. I don't want 2 sessions a month. I only want 1. What happens is it creates an imbalance in your energetic field, and you start to feel like, without knowing it, by the way, this is what happens. If you're not aware of it, there's something in you that starts to feel like off, and you say yes anyways. And you're like, oh, okay, well, I'm feeling desperate. I'm feeling like I need the money and I really want to help this person. So you know what? I'm going to say yes, even if it doesn't feel 100%, or if it doesn't feel really truthfully aligned. And usually what I've seen by the way, not just with my clients, but with myself, and I've seen this with my clients year after year, is something will happen. You'll attract in a client that doesn't show up or cancels this has happened to actually two of my clients in the last year, had a medicine session scheduled and then they canceled at the last second. That's pretty intense, right? You'll have a client say like, well, I didn't get the results because, I didn't get the results I wanted. Well, you didn't do it the way I wanted you to do it because I know this way works. So what happens is it actually creates more problems in your business. It usually is there to teach you a really good lesson, but it creates this imbalance where both people feel off energy and there's not a held container of safety and support for that client and also for yourself. Because now you've sacrificed your boundaries, you've sacrificed your truth, you feel like something's off. And by the way, I say to all my clients, when you go to undercharge because of fear or not feeling confident or whatever it is, first of all, we can work on that together. That's what I do with my clients. But if you're undercharging and you know that you are, what usually happens is there's something there that happens with that client that teaches you to never undercharge again. And maybe they don't show up or they don't take you seriously or they take advantage of you, whatever it is. This is why not only having really solid boundaries within yourself is so important in your business, but also doing the deeper work to stay grounded, to stay centered in your truth, in your like center in your body, like physically, energetically being grounded and centered so that you can really feel when you are not in your truth. This is something I bring into my coaching and I believe is going to be more and more important. I think those of you listening hopefully know this, but to really do the work to ground your nervous system and be fully embodied to know like what feels right for you, what feels right for your business, what feels right, where's your yes, where's your no, where are your boundaries, and where are you saying yes out of fear or doubt or lack of confidence. Just really what is your truth and your yes in your body, and what is your no, and what is even just the little nuance of energy that makes you realize, oh, you know what? That's not really my true yes. And here's the part that gets most people. When you know that and you actually stick to it, what happens is your business grows a lot easier, more effortlessly, and with the more ideal clients that truly respect you. This is the part that most people can't seem to understand. And of course, you can't understand it until you experience it, and then you experience it again, and then you experience it again, and you prove it to yourself. This is the catch-22 of being an entrepreneur. What happens is if you're operating out of fear and neediness, because of course there's the reality of like you need to pay the bills, but when you have that operating and you're saying yes, even when it doesn't feel right, over and over, there's like, it's kind of like mini, dark nights of the soul. You start having things happen that teach you about, a lesson that was maybe harder than you wanted. You realize like, oh, I said yes, but now it doesn't feel right. They say like, oh, I didn't really like that. So this is whatever it is, there's a million different scenarios that can happen, but this is your job. This is your job to do the energetic work, the grounding work, and the subconscious work at the same time you grow your business. Because if you have patterns that are operating in your business, if you have, which by the way, everybody has these trauma patternings, whether they know about them or not, they exist. It's called human. But the more you are aware of these and can feel and understand when they are actually running you and your business, the better it will be for your business. Because then you can actually stop and have an awareness of like, okay, this is the part of me that is feeling needy and fearful because I don't trust that I'm going to be supported, or I don't trust that this business is really going to work. I don't trust myself. I don't trust the business. I don't trust in life. I don't feel safe. I mean, it's actually a huge problem for, I think, a lot of humanity, especially here in the Western world, is even just feeling safe to exist here on Earth and feel like, and not just feel, but know in all of your cells and your mitochondria that you are safe to go do your soul's purpose, ask for what it is that you want, and receive it in. And this is something I weave into my business coaching because more than ever, especially in these energetically challenging times, I mean, there's so much movement happening in the collective and the stars and on the earth and the planet. Anybody who is aware of this or attuned to it can feel it. It is more important than ever to have the right kind of support that addresses the mind, the body, the nervous system, your energy system, and the 3D, structures, supports, the practical in your business. It is not just one and then your business grows. It's, usually what I see is if people have all the systems and support and 3D in place, but their business isn't growing, there is something off inside of themselves, whether it's in their not conscious or in their somatic field or their energetic resonance or all of the above. Usually it's all interconnected, by the way, because there's no separation. Can't have one without the other. It all has to be addressed. And the more you address this and the more you do all the work that it's involved and entailed in being a heart-centered entrepreneur, the better it will be for your business. This is not just about learn some strategies and do some formulas and use AI and blah, blah, you'll make money. It's not even about strategies in the end. Strategies only go so far. It's much deeper than that. And that's why I say we are doing soul work here together. It's deep, deep work, especially for those of you that are working with other human beings in a transformational space. For example, medicine work, coaching, therapy, healing work. It has to be an inner game. It is not just the strategies that will grow your business. It is you. And I have just noticed this recently from a few clients that were saying yes to things out of fear and how they taught lessons and didn't quite work out. Or how one client is really, and this is where I said, let's do an NLP session over this. One client is feeling like, I'm not really worthy of raising my rate up to the rate that I really want. It's like, okay, well, let's dive into why you're not feeling that, or why you're not feeling worthy. And it's not because, I haven't done enough trainings. It's so much deeper than that. It's usually rooted in a trauma patterning that comes from childhood or beyond that, ancestral, past lives, etc. It doesn't matter what the story is. It's all the same patterning. So we have to do that deeper work to uncover and reveal what it is that's stopping you from asking for what you want and receiving it in with gratitude, with grace, with knowing that you're here to serve, and you're also here to receive. So I hope this inspired you a little bit. If you need some resources for other people who do this deeper work, including me, I'm happy to give you some recommendations for people where, I do this, but if a client of mine needs to go deeper into a particular area, then I refer them out to a group of amazing, trusted healers, therapists, and coaches that I know and that I've worked with myself. I hope this has been an inspiration. And again, if you are the medicine we need for these times, it is your responsibility to really take good care of yourself and really hold your center during these chaotic times, especially as a leader and a service provider. The last thing anybody wants is someone who's of service that is not in their center and who is actually in their own chaos themselves. And of course, we're all human. We're all going to go through our stuff. But really, it's your job as a leader to really take care of yourself so that you can better facilitate holding tighter space, more sacred space for your clients and their transformation. And I do believe This is all of us that are called to be leaders and of service at this time. This is the work that we need. This is the deeper work, because humanity is going to need you to be grounded and centered in your truth and in your heart, with really tight boundaries that actually holds people better. Boundaries are not just about keeping people out. It's about holding in a tighter, more held, safer way for the transformation to occur. Thank you for listening. Many blessings. I hope you enjoyed the episode. If you're feeling inspired, I'd appreciate it if you showed your love with a review. And check out my YouTube channel where you can find the video version of this podcast. You can also head to bethaweinstein.com to learn more about me and grab my free business growth trainings. Remember, you carry your own unique medicine, and your medicine is what we need for these times.